Welcome to Biohacking with Brittany. Thank you for tuning in today. This is the place where I talk about health and wellness and everything in between. And I am going to be diving into some of the biggest wellness trends that we are seeing of this year so far. I always kind of love doing this at the beginning of the year. And I know we're at the end of February now, so this doesn't really count, but I always like to predict what I think is coming for the new year. And I also kind of look back on what we saw in the year before. And this episode is kind of like what I think is going to come, but also what we've already started to see so far. So I'm going to talk about my own experience, where we think this industry is going, and really just how to biohack your mind and body for optimal health this year if you haven't already, or if you're not already on that journey. But knowing the fact that you listen to this podcast, you are definitely on that journey already. So let's keep going with our health goals. Let's keep going with pursuing what we think is best for ourselves and our families and all the realms of wellness. And wellness is evolving. And so today we're diving into the biggest wellness trends of 2025 and how we can actually stick with them as well. Not just, dabble here and there, but how can we make some of these things a habit? How can we turn them into more of a lifestyle rather than a one-off thing that we try and kind of give up on? And yeah, it's very interesting. There's some really cool things that are going to be discussed and I'm going to talk about. Before we dive in, a shout out to Lila Quantum Tech. My goodness, they created EMF blocking underwear for women. Finally, this is so exciting. I actually have multiple products of theirs, including their new underwear that just came out in January for women. And this is really cool because it actually blocks the EMF and radiation from your phone, from your laptop, from Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, 5G, 4G, 3G, from impacting your reproductive parts, including your ovaries. And we really want to start thinking about our environment when we think about our reproductive health and what we can do to kind of mitigate the effects of it. So Wi-Fi and signals and radiation, it's not really going anywhere, unfortunately. And to be honest, it's probably only going to get worse, as in we're only going to be more exposed to stronger signals in more places that we go on the planet. And so we really actually have to take a step back and think, how is this impacting our body on a cellular level? And then how does that impact our organs and our hormones and the cascade of everything that happens with our health? And that same principle applies for our ovaries when we think of fertility, reproduction, pregnancy. Also, if we think about perimenopause and menopause, when the ovaries slowly start to stop creating hormones. So we really just want to protect them. And we can do that through EMF blocking underwear because it has silver in the fiber. And the silver fibers themselves actually kind of work as a shield, and they block the signals from reaching your body. So very cool. I'm wearing a pair right now. I have multiple. I have the full coverage and the more cheeky style. And I sized up, in case you're wondering. They fit a little small. So I actually have a large and it fits great. So I sized up and I really recommend you try them out. 10% off of everything that Lila Quantum Tech does, but including this underwear. And if you bundle and you buy a few, you save. And then my discount actually gives you another 10% off. So I strongly suggest using it, especially if you are somebody who works on your phone with a laptop, if you work in an office, if you are traveling a lot on a plane, if you care about your fertility, if you're pregnant, even menopause and perimenopause, I would really, really suggest supporting your reproductive health in this way. Linked in my show notes and in my bio and on my website for you. And a shout out to Wellness. I know you guys love the episode that I did with the founder. Very, very cool. All about oral health and the oral microbiome and how our toothpaste and tooth products are really impacting it. Wellness creates toothpastes and other natural products, self-care products that are very, very clean. So no harsh chemicals, absolutely no fluoride, no, artificial colors or sweeteners or flavors or anything like that. Very, very clean toothpastes. And we are all about non-toxic living over here. So wellness is the way to go. That is spelled WELLNESSE at the end. So wellness plus an E on the end. And if you use my link, you get 12% off of all of their products. I like their cinnamon toothpaste. My son uses the strawberry one now. And they also have a charcoal one, which is great for detoxing. So definitely check that out. That's Wellness. That is Katie Wells, who's known as Wellness Mama, her whole brand. And yeah, love those products. Okay. So let's dive into today's episode without further ado. And let's talk about trends for 2025 in the wellness space. So first up, I think this one will not come as a surprise to a lot of us, but the first one is cold water therapy, which is kind of, known now as the ultimate mental and physical biohack. Cold exposure has been exploding in popularity in the last few years. And in 2025, it's bigger than ever. But here's the thing, it's actually not just hype. The science behind cold water therapy is powerful, and I want to break it down for you so you can understand exactly why people are jumping into ice baths and lakes and cold plunges. So if we kind of look at the science of cold exposure, there was a 2022 study in the European Journal of Applied Physiology that found that colder water immersion boosts dopamine by 250%, improving mood and motivation, reduces inflammation, helping with pain and faster muscle recovery, activates brown fat, which burns more calories and supports metabolic health, and increases norepinephrine levels, which enhances focus, reduces depression, and improves resilience to stress. That was just one study. There's many, many studies on this, okay? So the benefits are kind of endless. So why does it work? When you expose your body to cold, it shocks your nervous system, but in a good way. Your body activates the fight or flight response, but as you stay in the cold, you train your body to regulate stress. Over time, your tolerance to stress improves and your baseline resilience actually goes up. This is why cold plunging has been shown to reduce anxiety and improve overall mental clarity. It is honestly one of the best ways to train your nervous system to handle stress. Even just 11 minutes of cold exposure per week has been shown to improve metabolic health, boost immunity, and enhance mental resilience. So how can we kind of start with cold therapy for those people who have never done this before? So if you're new to it, please do not jump into an ice bath right away. Instead, start with a cold shower finisher. So, 30 seconds after your shower, just turn it to cold. Gradually increase your exposure. So try 1 minute cold exposure of water, cold water immersion, and build your way up. And you can also pair it with deep breathing. So this really helps and tricks your brain into relaxation mode. Another thing you can do, which is kind of a bit more for the pros, but studies show that breathing techniques like the Wim Hof method can help you stay in cold water longer without panic. So even if you're not ready for full immersion, a simple cold face splash in the morning can improve alertness and circulation. Love this. I totally think this is happening. And I just want to say, if you are a woman listening to this, which so many of you are, we definitely want to be careful not to overdo cold water exposure because it can cause too much stress when we do it too often. So my recommendation for women is to do small amounts, once or twice a week, I think is more than enough. So even if you did it twice a week, you could do a couple of minutes, at the end of your shower using cold water, or you jump in a lake, or maybe you have a cold tub, maybe you do have a regulated ice bath at home and you have the full setup with the sauna, but just don't overdo it. So just kind of keep it to a minimum. Please do not do it on your period. That is like the worst possible time to do it. Your body is already going through a lot. And I think about when I'm on my period and the last thing I want to do is do cold water therapy. Definitely not what I would recommend. So just kind of keep that in mind when you are going through your cycle. I think cold water immersion is totally fine for pregnancy. Just be mindful of it. Watch your heart rate. If you feel like your heart rate is already higher than what it is during pregnancy, like obviously your heart rate is higher during pregnancy, but if it's even higher too much while you're doing the cold water exposure, get out, stop immediately, and just take a break and kind of don't do it. I did cold water exposure my entire pregnancy, very unregulated, like very sporadic, I guess is a better word. Here and there, maybe a few times a month, let's say. And I gave birth in July, which was the middle of summer. And so it was much easier for me when it was super hot outside to go outside and, go in my cold tub and come out. I did much less of a cold temperature, so a warmer kind of exposure versus what I've done previously. And I would only stay in for about a minute versus now I usually try to do like 2 minutes. That's kind of my recommendations. Be mindful of it. Listen to your body. Don't push it. And you can always combine it with hot therapy, like heat therapy, like through a sauna or steam room to amplify the benefits, which is exactly what I do. So definitely check that out. And I actually just remember this. When I first started in cold exposure years ago, like maybe 2018 or so, I actually did cold water face dunks, which is exactly how it sounds. I would fill up my sink with cold water, like cold water, and put my face in the sink. Now, ideally, you have a clean sink, first of all. So just keep that in mind. But I've seen people do this on TikTok where they actually just fill up like a bowl of water and they put water in there and ice, and then they just dunk their face in. Amazing for your skin, let me tell you, because it improves circulation to the surface of your skin, improves blood flow. When we improve and increase blood flow to any area, we are bringing oxygen and nutrients with it, which is only going to help your skin thrive and glow and heal and recover and renew much, much faster. So I actually should probably start doing those again because I'm kind of trying to brighten my face a bit. So maybe that is something that I should look into. Okay. Next up, we have this new idea, which I think has definitely not taken off yet, but I think it is, we're going to see it kind of, increase this year, maybe even next year, is this idea of sense hacking. Yeah, that's right. Sense hacking. So how to biohack your environment for mental clarity. So I think this is one of the most underrated wellness trends of 2025. We talk a lot about diet and movement and biohacking devices, but your environment is actually shaping your health so much. This is why I always talk about EMF. When I talk about radiation, is like, I just really feel like the environment and how it impacts our health is like a new frontier that we're not even really touching yet. Sense hacking will be a major focus for well-being, this year and next year. Our 5 senses. So what does that mean? So our 5 senses, including sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch, are constantly sending signals to our brain. And by manipulating them more intentionally, we can actually improve mood, focus, and relaxation effortlessly, which is a very, very cool thing to think about. So what does this actually mean kind of in action? First of all, morning light exposure, which would obviously be working on the sight sense. This regulates circadian rhythm, improves mood, and enhances energy. And this is the thing that I just want to say, which I wish someone had explained to me years ago, is even if you live in a place where it's cloudy in the morning, like I lived in Vancouver for so many years, you actually are still getting the correct UV rays through the clouds from the sun, even though you cannot see the sun, which I did not know. And I don't think a lot of people know. I heard this explained on a podcast recently by Gary Brecka, and he was explaining this and saying, people talk about like getting the sun, and if there's no sun outside, there's no point in going outside in the morning. But he was actually going through the UV rays and saying like the ones that are the most important that regulate your circadian rhythm, you actually can't see from the sun and actually just come right through the clouds. So it's actually great to still go outside, go for a walk in the morning, sit on your deck, have a cup of coffee, get some light, because it really does impact our circadian rhythm, improve our mood, and enhance energy. Let's have a quick real talk about something many of us don't think about enough: protecting our reproductive health from EMFs. EMFs, which are electromagnetic fields, are around us everywhere, from our phones to Wi-Fi, 5G towers, and even household electronics. But did you know that EMFs can impact sensitive areas of the body, including your ovaries? As women, protecting this vital part of our health is so important, especially if you are planning for your future, thinking about fertility, or maybe any other health issues or concerns you have with your ovaries. That's where Leela Quantum Tech's women's underwear comes in. This is no ordinary underwear, okay? It's infused with pure quantum energy and woven with silver fibers to block over 99% of measurable radiation, including 3G, 4G, and 5G signals. It's like giving your body and your ovaries a protective shield against harmful EMFs while staying comfortable and stylish. Leela Quantum Tech has created something truly special. Durable antimicrobial underwear designed with your health and well-being in mind. Whether you prefer brief or bikini style, these are an absolute must for anyone looking to prioritize their reproductive health, which I know so many of us are. And here's the best part. You can get 2 pairs for $77 or 4 pairs for $149. And if you use my discount code biohackingbrittany, you actually get a 10% discount on top of that bundle deal. So seriously use it so you can save. Your health is worth it. Head to the link in my bio, on my show notes, on my website, and start to protect yourself today, starting from the inside out. Leela Quantum Tech, science meets self-care for every single part of you. For sense hacking, we can also talk about color psychology. So thinking about like blues and greens and how they can reduce stress, while yellows boost happiness. So how can we kind of bring those colors into our home? So for example, my office is like a very light yellow, is painted a light yellow on the walls. And then I have a bunch of plants everywhere, which is the green, which I think really reduces the stress. And if I were to like incorporate like a water feature, which I would love to do, that would also help as well. But you could also do like artwork or all sorts of things like pillows or I don't know, all sorts of decor that could be related to reducing stress that is in that color palette. Binaural beats works on our sound sense. And I might do a whole podcast on binaural beats because I find them fascinating. Essentially, binaural beats work by being a certain frequency that, I'm trying to explain it correctly. They are a certain frequency that help you kind of tune into that frequency and affect your brainwaves and match your brainwaves. I think that's correct. And I know that it only works really if you use headphones versus like a speaker. But if you listen to 432 hertz music, this has actually been shown to reduce anxiety by 31%. So what I do is I go to Spotify, I type in binaural beats, stress, binaural beats, sleep, binaural beats, work, workout, or whatever you want to do. And there's always a playlist for it. And it'll show you the hertz that it's talking about that is related to what you're looking for and the frequency of it and how that actually can change your mood and what that can do for you. So binaural beats is very cool. I don't know too much about it. I've, listened to multiple playlists on it over the years, but definitely sounds like I should dive into it more because I think there is a lot to unpack there. Then we have aromatherapy. If we talk about smell, this is such a good one and such an easy one to incorporate into the home. Rosemary is actually studied a lot and increases focus by 75% in one study, while lavender promotes relaxation. So what that could look like for you is, buying a diffuser for your office or your kitchen, I don't know, and, getting a rosemary essence, something with rosemary in it to help increase focus. Or maybe you put it in your bathroom and you take a bath and you have lavender going. Or you have a candle that has lavender essential oils in it. Or, there's so many different ways that you can use smell to really activate this sense and hack this sense. I think for me personally, when the places that I need the most sense hacking is my office. Like I try to create a place that's very low stress and calming. So I do have, what am I looking at right now? I have 2 different candles. I have incense in like a little holder. I have a aromatherapy spray that I spray sometimes. I have multiple plants. I have pictures of plants. And I just have like a clutter-free zone as well and a big window to try to create this environment and really hack my senses to be calmer and happier while I am, working on a computer, which is like a lot of things to look at, bright lights, technology. I try to like mitigate that through these natural ways. So what you can do to kind of sense hack starting right now is you could start your morning outside for 10 minutes, just get some natural light. This improves sleep and can reduce depression risk by up to 25%. And you can swap out your harsh lighting for warmer, softer bulbs in the evening to support melatonin production. So I do this. I have warmer, softer, yellowy bulbs throughout my house. So in my kitchen, in my dining room, in my living room, I have much, much softer lighting, which is really, really nice, that I put on kind of when the sun goes down and in the early morning as well. Your senses are constantly influencing your mind, so why not biohack them to work in your favor? All right, the next one coming up this is a surprising one when I was kind of doing some research for this episode, but the apple cider vinegar comeback. Wowzers. A science-backed health tonic? This is a total side note, but did you see that there is a Netflix show that just came out called Apple Cider Vinegar? It is I've only seen one episode, but you should watch it if you're interested in the wellness world and how influencers work in the wellness world. It's very, very interesting. Anyway, so apple cider vinegar is back in a big way, but it's not just about taking a shot of it every morning anymore. This year, apple cider vinegar is showing up in capsules, tonics, and even skin care products. But the question is does it actually live up to the hype? So the science behind apple cider vinegar, a 2024 study in the Journal of Functional Foods found that taking apple cider vinegar before meals lowered post-meal blood sugar spikes by 34%. That is so much. Apple cider vinegar increased insulin sensitivity, helping to regulate blood sugar levels. And subjects who consumed apple cider vinegar daily for 12 weeks had a 1.2% reduction in body fat. That is shocking. So why does this matter? Blood sugar control is key for preventing insulin resistance, which is linked to weight gain, energy crashes, and metabolic dysfunction. Keeping blood sugar stable reduces cravings, mood swings, and even brain fog. Those statistics are wild. Apple cider vinegar and digestion, there is a huge gut health connection here. Apple cider vinegar contains acetic acid, which can increase stomach acid production, improving digestion and reducing bloating, act as a natural antimicrobial, killing off harmful gut bacteria, support the gut microbiome, which plays a role in mood, immunity, and overall health. And a 2019 study from the National Institutes of Health showed that apple cider vinegar can help reduce symptoms of acid reflux, promote the growth of beneficial gut bacteria, and support a balanced pH in the digestive system. Woo! It's a powerhouse. It's a powerhouse. Like, it could not be understated. So how can you take it without the side effects, and how can you kind of start implementing it? Obviously, one side effect and one downside is that drinking apple cider vinegar straight can erode tooth enamel and actually irritate the throat. And a lot of people don't like the taste. So what you could do is you could dilute 1 to 2 tablespoons in a glass of water before meals. You could use it in salad dressings or as a marinade, or you could just opt for capsules if you don't like the taste. What is important is to always choose raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar with the mother. It'll literally say on the label, with the mother, for the best benefits. Apple cider vinegar is not a magic pill, but if it's paired with a healthy diet, biohacking, and a healthy lifestyle, it's a powerful tool for digestion, metabolism, and blood sugar balance. especially if you are somebody who is dealing with hormonal irregulations, PCOS, blood sugar problems, prediabetes, diabetes, anything along those lines, I would personally start adding apple cider vinegar into your daily routine. Or if you're somebody who's having digestive issues, maybe you have some stomach acid issues, bloating, heartburn, things like that, I do think it can play a role in that. And I think we're just going to continue to kind of see it pop up in different ways. Capsules, tonics, skincare products. I think it's here to stay. And I think it can be a really powerful tool if we kind of understand it and know how to use it. Okay, continuing on, I definitely need to touch on the longevity boom. Longevity, my goodness, did I even know that word like 2 years ago? I don't know because it is massive now. The amount of books on longevity, the amount of influencers, the amount of conferences and events and supplements and oh my gosh, products that promote longevity is wild. I don't even think, oh my gosh, I don't even think it's like nearly as mainstream as it's going to get. So I don't think it's just a buzzword. It's one of the biggest health trends that we have seen in a very long time in the health and wellness and biohacking space. People aren't just looking to live longer. They want to live better. They want to increase their health span and not just their lifespan, which I've talked about many times on this show. So the science of aging is so interesting. There's so much money going into this right now and so much research going into it. The ultimate question is, can we actually slow it down? Research shows that aging is not just about getting older, it's about cellular decline. A 2023 study from Cell Metabolism identified 9 hallmarks of aging. I think it's actually 11 now, including mitochondrial dysfunction, which means less energy production, which means faster aging, chronic inflammation linked to heart disease, cancer, and neurodegeneration, and cellular senescence, which is known as zombie cells that damage healthy cells and tissues. So what's working? What is actually working? Now, I am going to talk about ingredients here. I am not going to talk about the specific brands and supplements that I take because this is not sponsored by anybody and I'm just going to keep this very neutral. So there are NAD booster supplements out there that really do help with cellular energy and repair. So NAD plus declines as we age, leading to fatigue, cognitive decline, and DNA damage. A Harvard study found that increasing NAD plus levels can extend lifespan by 30%. There are some ways you can actually increase NAD plus. So there are NMN supplements, which converts to NAD plus in the body. Fasting and cold exposure actually naturally stimulate NAD plus production. Toothpaste. We all need it and use it daily, but have you ever read the ingredients of your toothpaste or noticed the FDA poison warning on there? If not, keep on listening for some surprising information that your dentist might not be sharing with you. Fluoride has long been a common ingredient in many commercial toothpastes, hailed for its ability to prevent cavities. However, recent studies have raised concerns about the potential health risks associated with fluoride exposure. These risks include thyroid dysfunction, dental fluorosis, skeletal fluorosis, and potential neurotoxicity. Given these concerns, wellness offers a safer alternative that doesn't compromise our health, yet remains effective. Why choose Wellness Toothpaste? It is founded by wellness mama Katie Wells, and Wellness is dedicated to natural health and uses hydroxyapatite instead of fluoride, a game changer in oral care. Here's why it is a better choice. It's fluoride free, eliminating all the health risks that I just talked about. The natural hydroxyapatite formula strengthens enamel and whitens your teeth. Plus, it's crafted from natural ingredients, gentle on gums, and eco-friendly. I love it. I use it all the time. I love the taste of it. And I don't think I will switch to anything else. So make the switch for yourself today to Wellness Toothpaste. Visit wellness.com and use code biohackingbrittany for 12% off your order. That's wellness spelled WELLNESSE.com. Safeguard your health with wellness because your smile deserves the best. And then we also have peptide therapy, and this looks at cell regeneration and anti-aging. Peptides are short chains of amino acids that repair and rejuvenate tissues. So popular longevity peptides in 2025 include BPC 157, which is arguably the most popular peptide of everything, not even just longevity. This helps heal the gut lining and reduces inflammation. Epitalin, am I saying that correctly? Epitalin, which stimulates the pineal gland and may extend lifespan. And then thymosin alpha 1, which strengthens the immune system. So I personally have not tried peptides. My husband has. As somebody who was pregnant and is breastfeeding, it's just not recommended. So it's not something I'm doing right now. But when the day comes when I'm no longer breastfeeding, I will definitely be doing peptides or trying them out. And then we have smart wearables and longevity tracking. So in 2025, more people are using wearable devices to track biological age. Biological age is such a big marketing. It's not a scam because it is interesting and it is helpful. But man, everyone is coming out with tests about biological age and they all say different numbers. So popular devices include things like the Oura Ring, which tracks HRV, sleep, and recovery metrics. I actually might be trying out an ultra human ring, so I'll let you know which one I think is better. A continuous glucose monitor, so CGM, which helps optimize metabolic health. The brand that's great for that is Levels. I haven't tried it, but I would love to. I don't know if they're in Canada yet. I'm just kind of waiting for them to come to Canada. And then you can do multiple tests to take a look at your biological age. A great one is Glycanage. I love Glycanage. I love the team over there. I've done it multiple times. Every time I've done it, it says I'm higher and older than I am. So that has been humbling. So I should probably do it now postpartum and kind of see where I'm at. I haven't done it in, I think, like maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years. That one's really great. I think True Diagnostic does one, and there's a couple other brands as well. So I feel like I barely touched on the longevity world, like from supplements to peptides to tests to wearables. There's so much. I could do a full hour episode on everything that I recommend in this space. If you want to know what supplements I'm taking for longevity, just send me a message on Instagram and I'll send them to you. And send me a message if you actually want me to do a full episode on this. It might actually be interesting to kind of look at the research behind women and aging and longevity, how it differs from men, and what women should be doing differently from men in order to age better. Because I would be curious into kind of looking into that. And maybe I could look into what women can do in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and how it changes and how it impacts longevity as well. So if you just heard that and you're like, yeah, girl, do that episode, seriously, send me a message and I will get it done. And last but not least, this idea that health is a journey and not a destination. I fully agree and support this notion. This is an important shift in wellness for 2025. People are finally understanding that health is not a goal to reach. It is a lifelong journey. Think about it. The idea of getting fit or losing weight implies an endpoint, but real health and optimal longevity and optimal wellness is about daily choices, not a finish line. So how can you actually make health a sustainable lifestyle? Number one, focus on habit stacking. So a Stanford University study found that stacking habits makes new behaviors 40% more likely to stick. For example, after you brush your teeth, take your supplements. When you make your morning coffee, drink a glass of water first. Just add in those little habits, stack them together so that you can actually make it more of a lifestyle. The second thing you can do is embrace the 80-20 rule or 90-10, depends where you are in that scale. But being too rigid with diet, exercise, or wellness routines often leads to burnout. Instead, aim for 80% consistency and give yourself that 20% flexibility. You don't want to be too strict. You don't want to cause too much stress and be overwhelmed with it. I've been there. It's not worth it. Take it from me. It's not worth burning out, trying to be as healthy as you can, because then it has the opposite effect. So, 80-20 or 90-10, depending on where you're at. And last but not least, learn to enjoy the process. You don't want to have this mindset of like, I'll be happy when I reach my goal. Like, I'll be happy when I weigh this amount, or I'm this size, or I can bench this amount of weight. Or maybe it's, I'll be happy when my biological age says I'm 10 years younger. Let's kind of rethink that. A better mindset would be, I enjoy taking care of my body every day. I enjoy taking care of my body every day because it helps support my longevity. It helps me show up for my family, for my kids, helps me show up as a mom, helps me be a better wife or husband, or whatever it is that matters to you, that like deep soul reason that you might have. That is a much better mindset and makes it more sustainable. The most successful people in the health and longevity space are not chasing perfection. They are playing the long game. You've got to make it a lifestyle. It's got to be a part of who you are, not just something that you get there and then you stop doing. So we covered so much today. Apple cider vinegar is back, but the right approach matters. Longevity is being redefined. Biohacking your biological age is possible. And honestly, the most important trend, I think, of 2025 so far is seeing health as a lifelong journey. You can incorporate cold water therapy. You can sense hack, which I love that new word, by like optimizing light, sound, and sense. And there's just so much we can really do to improve our overall well-being. If you love this episode, DM me on Instagram at biohackingbrittany and tell me which trend you are doing or you're excited to try. Stay tuned for Friday. I'm putting out another Q&A. I have a lot of Q&As from this past weekend, so I'm excited to be chatting about them with you. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm here to help you. Seriously, I'm here to help you be as healthy as you can be and optimize your health and wellness. As a mom, as a dad, as a woman in this space, I'm here to support you. And until next time, keep biohacking your best life. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for listening to another episode of Biohacking with Brittany. If you're interested in finding the show notes or the sponsors for this episode, you can do so on my website, which is biohackingbrittany.com. Remember to follow me on Instagram, where I'm most active. My handle is @biohackingbrittany. And if you're interested in working together and you want to email me directly, you can do that. My email is info@biohackingbrittany.com. And I look forward to hearing from you and having you tune in next week.